Welcome to our board meeting. It is May 22nd. It's 5:07 p.m. We'll call the meeting to order. Ms. Burgos, will you take roll?
Trustees present tonight are Trustee Ortega, Duarte, Calderon, and Vizcarra. With Trustee Aguilar absent, you have a quorum.
Thank you. And for the record, Ms. Aguilar will be joining us more than likely during closed session. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Board members, we're on item C, the approval of tonight's agenda. Is there a motion on that? There's a motion by Ms. Duarte. Is there a second? A second by Mr. Calderon. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those voting in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Those voting in favor are Trustee Ortega, Duarte, Calderon, and myself. We are on item D, public comments, closed session items only. I don't have any in front of me. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the announcement of convening into closed session. Mr. Weiler.
The board will now go into closed session to discuss the items and act on as relevant within item F on the agenda. As to item F6, conference with legal counsel, the at least one case for now involves allegations of sexual harassment and retaliation by a former employee.
Thank you. We will now go to closed session. Our meeting is 6:10 p.m., May 22nd. Welcome to our regular board meeting here at Cesar Chavez Elementary School. We are reconvening from closed session. So if you have an agenda in front of you, or those of you just following along with me or behind me, we are on item H, announcement of actions taken in closed session. Mr. Weiler?
There is no action to report at this time. The board will reconvene in closed session later in the meeting.
And for the record, when we started our meeting, Ms. Aguilar was not here. Ms. Aguilar arrived during closed session at 5:33 p.m. while we were in closed session. Welcome, Ms. Aguilar, and happy birthday to Ms. Norma Aguilar.
Happy birthday, Ms. Aguilar, and on behalf of all of us at the district, we wish you continued health and happiness. And I'd like to take a couple of minutes, and of course we always recognize the good, and sometimes we have to report things that are never good. I'll start with an update on the health of our former superintendent, Mr. Roberto Moreno. I know that the community is well aware that he is hospitalized. He had an accident, and so his health is improving, as reported by his daughter-in-law. And so she asked on behalf of the family that you continue to keep Mr. Moreno in your positive thoughts and your prayers, so that his road to recovery is a little less heavy, because it will be a difficult road of recovery for him. In addition, it's sad to report the passing of the father of two of our teachers in our district, Ms. Vanessa Lopez and Eric Lopez. Their father passed away, I believe, last weekend, and so we keep them in our thoughts and prayers, as well as their family deals with this ordeal. And so I'll ask for a few seconds of silence for them. And in addition, this afternoon, a few minutes before the meeting, we got word that Mrs. Hortensia Armendariz, her mother, passed away late this afternoon, and Mrs. Armendariz is our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. And we embrace our community in good times and in bad, and so let's just keep them in our thoughts and our prayers. So if we can have a couple of moments of silence for them. Thank you. And just I want to remind you that we may have some of our principals and teachers not here tonight, as two of our teachers are being recognized tonight as AXA of the Year, Teachers of the Year. There's a teacher from Jefferson School and Rockwood School that are being recognized tonight. So congratulations to our wonderful teachers, and let's go on with our meeting.
Yes, and congratulations definitely to our two teachers. Being nominated and awarded Teacher of the Year is a big deal. Do we have their principals are actually out there? I don't know the names. I apologize for not knowing it. But if we could give them all a big round of applause. They're being celebrated tonight. So I think this district is very lucky to have had two teachers this year. Mora Chavez is one of the teachers, and the other name escapes me. I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, item I tonight on your agenda is a public hearing. We have a public hearing tonight on school facilities needs analysis. There's a notice of intent to adopt permissible alternative school facility fees. Public hearing is an opportunity for you, the public, to come up to the podium and let the board and the community know your thoughts on this issue. Do we have anything? So the public hearing is now open. So the notice of intent, I'll read the public hearing out to you. The notice of intent to adopt permissible alternative school facilities fees. Notice is hereby given that the Calexico Unified School District has completed a school facility needs analysis and determination of permissible alternative school facilities fees study in accordance to Government Code Section 65995. This study was undertaken for the purpose of establishing school facility fees for the construction of new schools as a result of new housing development. Copies of this study are on file at the Calexico Unified School District office located at 901 Andrade Avenue in Calexico, California, 92231. And they are available for public review after April 22nd, 2014, and thereafter during regular business hours until 4 p.m., May 22nd, 2014. The comment period extends for at least 30 days or until the day of the adoption of the board resolution. A copy of the study may be sent to you upon request by calling Ms. Mai Randall, Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Calexico Unified School District, or calling her at 760-768-3883, extension 3007. At the Calexico Unified School District Board of Education meeting set for May 22nd, 2014 at 5 p.m., the board will conduct a public hearing to consider any comments received during the public review period and to determine the need to impose the new alternative school facility fee. If the board finds the study justified, it may adopt a resolution imposing the new developer fees as indicated in this study. Any person wishing to comment on this matter may submit such comments in writing to the Calexico Unified School District on or before May 22nd, 2014. Comments of all responsible agencies are also requested by this date, dated April 22nd, 2014. And we do have a speaker to this item, Mr. Alan Lopez. I'm sorry, it is not Mr. Alan Lopez, it is Mr. Raul Ureña speaking on the public hearing item. Go ahead, Mr. Ureña.
Just a couple of quick questions. I'm not sure if you can answer them right now or you can answer them in writing or however. the money for this public hearing or the intent of fixing everything, where does it come from? Is it Common Core money or is it something else? And when was this investigation started? Does it tie into the Common Core investigation or just what was the process? I want to know because I was never contacted about this.
Thank you, Mr. Ureña. That's a good question, and Ms. Randall or Ms. Ambrisa, I think, could give you the information you need.
Any upgrades done to any of our facilities are not that have to do with this are not through Common Core monies. However, every couple of years, I believe there is a facilities fees analysis that's done to upgrade to see if the fees that we're charging developers, if it's appropriate or if it needs to be modified in any way. And this is part of that process that is done every couple of years.
All right, and as to the school board's actual intent with this money, are we gonna build more trailer schools or are we actually gonna fix what we have already? What is the intent?
As part of our facilities master plan development, as you know, we've had meetings throughout the district. And when we have the final report on the facilities master plan and we decide what our priorities are and what can be done within our budgets, et cetera, then at that point, we would prioritize and find out what is doable, what is put on a plan, and we take it from there.
Right, and is there gonna be a last question, sorry. Is there going to be a board retreat on this where the public can actually engage with the school board as a whole?
Absolutely, that's always a possibility.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted to say, and also, just to make note, the district receives these funds as development occurs. So if there is no development, then obviously the district doesn't receive any developer fees. So, and they're set by, different levels at different dollar amounts. So just to be clear, and typically these funds are used for facility repair because we don't receive millions and millions of dollars. So we use what we get for maintenance and repair on the facilities that we currently have. Okay?
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. If nothing else, in this public hearing portion, we will close the public hearing at this time. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Ureña, for your comments. We're going to move on to item J of our agenda, a very exciting part of our agenda, our presentations from our students. We have all our representatives here. You ready?
Okay, our first student representative this evening is from Aurora High School, Ms. Amanda Algraves.
Good evening. I'm going to start with Aurora's bulletin. On May 13th, students had English KC. May 14th, students had Math KC. Also on May 14th, teachers had Appreciation Day and were classified and certificated. May 16th, students with perfect attendance had free dress. May 20th, the district recognized teachers with many years of services and recognized students rep. Yesterday, May 21st, there was a SSC/ELAC committee meeting and was formed to discuss positive reinforcement awards and discuss future technology for Aurora High School. May 26th, there shall not be school due to Memorial Day. May 28th, Aurora should have a PLC meeting. May 30th, students with Student of the Month and perfect attendance will have free dress and free lunch pass. And for May graduates, it was Alejandro Rocha and Alejandro Barron. And that's it for May. All right, thank you.
From Calexico High School, we have Frida Castro.
Hi, good evening. I'll talk about Calexico High School. And okay, I'm gonna start with our last blood drive was on May 1st. We collected around 110 units. Prom was a very memorable night to our seniors and juniors who attended. We give special thanks to our junior class of 2015 for creating an awesome event. Also, our 80s held special prom at Varner Gym for special education students on May 17. They had lots of fun with our Western team prom. Also, ASB gave special thanks to our CHS staff and administrators by providing them with an awesome, delicious breakfast on May 16. Also, our NHS seniors got recognized on May 20th in our school library. They received an NHS cord. Also, ASB invited our current freshmen over to a high school for Camp 10 on May 21st. Our FFA banquet will be on May 30th. Our school year is coming to an end. Our finals will be on June 2nd and 3rd. Also, Grand Night is on June 6th. We hope all our seniors have fun. Our baccalaureate is on June 8th at Our Lady of Guadalupe Church. Also, senior clearance is on June 9th through the 10th. Senior farewell is on June 10. Graduation and our last day of school is on June 11. We will have an early release day. Our track and field boys and girls came to an end. Some events participated on IVLs. Our boys tennis went to CIF first round. Also, on behalf of my student body, I would like to say thank you to our board members, and we wish you a great next year. Also, senior class of 2014 is ready to graduate and represent Clarksville High School. Thank you.
For the ninth grade campus at Calexico High School, Gabriel Peña. And I don't think this is Gabriel, so she'll introduce herself.
I'm the alternative, Denise Gonzalez, and I'd like to start with the Camp 10 that we had just yesterday, that I myself have, went as well. It was really fun, and we got to help do a pep rally. In Baby Ball, the 24th, we're already getting ready for that. Everything's all pretty much set up and ready to go, and we're all so excited. And going back to the special prom on the 17th, we worked very hard and with our promposals and all that went through the 9th through the 17th. And ASB also supported a Teacher's Day, which was on the 15th, and which was also not only for the teachers, that also helped us so much. It also helped with our classified staff. That was the janitors that helped us when we got stuck, and everyone else that was just so kind and supportive for us. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. For Enrique Camarena, we have Mario Sosaya.
Good evening, board members, superintendent, and community members. My name is Mario Sosaya, and I am the ASB Vice President for Enrique Camarena Junior High School. Our school report is the following. On Wednesday, May 14th, we had our last general parent meeting of the year, along with the Student Month recognition celebration. The cafeteria was full of exciting parents and students about receiving the recognition and awards. On Tuesday, May 20th, our students participated in the Imperial Valley Mass Competition Festival held at Imperial Valley College. Our eighth grade team, the Radicals, made of Lorna Avila, Laura Corona, Kimberly Lopez, Samantha Licona, and Vivian Noriega, earned the Achievement Award among all the other 8th grade math teams in the Imperial Valley competition. Our 7th grade team, the Exponents, made up of Eric Jarrero, Isidro Gomez, Gabriel Aguilar, Julio Ramirez, and Cristian Castillo, earned the Exemplary Award among all the 7th grade math teams in the Imperial Valley competition. We thank Ms. Mesa, Ms. Diaz, Ms. Sanchez, and our math team for preparing our students for this event. Our 7th grade boot camp will be held between May 27th and May 29th. Students for Cesar Chavez, Jefferson, and Dual School will be invited to attend workshops between 3:15 to 4:30 p.m. A parent orientation meeting will be held on Tuesday, May 27th from 5:30 to 7:30. On Tuesday, May 27th, our 7th and 8th grade avid students will be attending the University of California, San Diego under the direction of Ms. Robles, Mr. Montaño, Ms. Fuentes, and Mrs. De La Fuente. Our avid students will have an opportunity to explore the campus and participate in higher education activities with the UCSD staff. Our Enrique Camarena Junior High School Band Spring Concert will be held on Wednesday, May 28th at 7:30 in the William Moreno Multi-Purpose Room. Students will be recognized for their commitment, dedication, and skill. On Thursday, May 28th, our MESA program students will compete in the second annual cardboard boat race being held at Central High School from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. We thank Mrs. Diaz, our MESA advisor, for preparing our students. Career Day will be held on Thursday, May 29th, and will be held between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. We expect to have a great turnout of presenters from many different fields and professions. We want to thank Ms. Newell for doing an excellent job in coordinating our college and career day. Finals for the second semester at Enrique Camarena will take place on Wednesday, June 4th and Thursday, June 5th. Our last club day of the year will take place on Friday, June 6th. We will have a DJ for students in all clubs. For students in all clubs and departments will be selling for the last time this school year. On Saturday, June 7th, our excellent band students will be attending their annual field trip to Knott's Berry Farm under the direction of Mr. Loppy and the band Rooster parents. Our end of the year 7th grade awards assembly will be held on June 9th at 8:30 a.m. in the Quad area. Our 8th grade promotion and awards recognition celebration will be held on June 10th at 11 a.m. in the Tasada gym. All 8th grade parents have been invited, and our 8th grade students will be receiving end of the year awards and their certificates of completion. The last day of school is June 11th, and we want to wish everyone a restful and safe summer. Finally, we'll also like to thank the school board and the administration for allowing us the opportunity to present our school activities and accomplishments at Enrique Camarena this year.
Thank you, Mr. Sosaya. And from Willie Moreno Junior High School, Daniela Cortez, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniela Cortez, and I am William Moreno Junior High School representative. I would like to first wish Miss Aguilar happy birthday. I hope you had a nice day. Happy birthday. You're welcome. I will be informing you about the activities of April, May, and a few upcoming activities of June. March 27th, our second parent luncheon occurred. More than 170 parents showed up. March 11th, we had open house. On May 16th, we had a family movie night. The movie we watched was Frozen. My favorite character is Olaf, just saying. On April 16th, spring break, we had a spring break neon dance party. It was lots of fun. ASB field trip is on June 4th, and we will be going to Disneyland for a leadership training camp. Math festival was May 20th. Our 8th graders won first place of the whole county, and our 7th graders won an achievement award. We also had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. We had many students that participated. Band field trip will be next Saturday. They will be going to the bowling zone and Ricochet. All 7th graders went to ICOE leadership camp. The talent show will be held June 5th. And finally, 8th grade promotion will occur June 10th, and we will have an 8th grade promotion dance from 5 to 8. The theme will be Night in Paris. And thank you for your time, and have a good evening.
Okay, we're going to do the Students of the Month right now. For Aurora High School, we have Ms. Algarabez, who's going to read the biographies for Emily Medina and Mario Aldape. So our first student is Emily Medina.
Emily Medina, ask your questions, and she responded. How do you feel that you're a student month, and how do you think your family feels about you? I feel really proud because I never been student of the month during my high school years. My mom will feel really proud of me too because she's always have mentioned that when will I be student of the month? How many credits do you need to graduate? I need about 105 credits. How do you feel that soon you'll graduate from Aurora High School? I feel proud because I'm going to face that I didn't drop out and I graduated from Aurora High School. After you graduate, what do you plan to do? I plan to go to IVC and study for criminal justice. What do you do during your free time? During my free time, I read, use Facebook, or go out for a jog. If you had one wish, what would that wish be? I wish to always have a healthy family and have them with me. And that was it. Yeah, she said.
The second student being recognized for Aurora High School this evening is Mario Aldape.
Hi. Your mom and dad. To come up with you. Oh. How do you feel that you're a student month, and how do you think your family feels about you? I feel proud because I haven't been student month since freshman year, and I think my family would be proud too because I have proven to them that I've been doing the best I can. How many credits do you need to graduate? I need about 38 credits to graduate. How do you feel that soon you'll graduate from Aurora High School? I feel really excited because I'm about to finish one of my goals. After you graduate, what do you plan to do? I plan to go to IVC and study for nursing. What do you do during your free time? During my free time, I hang out with my friends or play soccer. If you had one wish, what would that wish be? I wish to have my own house. And that was it. Thank you.
Okay, we have Miss Frida Castro. Someone, Mr. Pesqueira is going to be reading the biography because the person being recognized this evening is Miss Frida Castro.
It's my honor to recognize Frida Castro, 12th grader at Calexico High School. She has a 3.8 overall. Club she's in is ASB and also part of our National Honor Society. She's been a cheerleader for I think 4 years at Calexico High School. Her plans for the future, she plans to major in electrical engineering and planning to attend Cal Poly Pomona. Her favorite things at Calexico High School have been an amazing 3 years in her leadership class. And she wants to give special thanks to her parents and her family. Congratulations, Frida, for a great job.
And now Ms. Frida Castro will read the biography of our second student being recognized from Calexico High School this evening, Jesus Fimbres. Make sure you bring your parent with you.
Jesus Fimbres, 12th grader, current GPA 3.3, clubs and National Honor Society, Latin American Theater, senior class president, associated student body member. His plans for the future are to attend Cal Poly Pomona and major in set design. Also, his favorite things about Calexico High School are the class floats competition, the homecoming dances, and being an ASB. He gives special thanks to his parents, siblings, my class advisors, and God. Thank you.
For the 9th grade, we will have Miss Denise Gonzalez. and she will be reading the biography for Melissa Rodriguez.
Mel- Melissa's parents' name is Lito Barung and Lisa Rocha. Her favorite subject in is English because it makes her express herself and she gets a chance to write and learn more about writing. The university that she plans on attending would be UCSD because she always had the desire to visit San Diego and some of her teachers recommended it. She plans on majoring in biology because someone recommended it as well and she has a desire for it. She would like to change poverty because she believes that there are way too many who wish to attend universities but do not have enough money in order to. Also, some infants, children live in foster homes and are not given enough supplies for food. Poverty also leaves people homeless. And the people that she wishes to thank is her mother because she supports her through the whole year and fills her with positive thoughts.
And also from Calexico High School, 9th grade, Brian Chavez.
Brian's parents is Jesus and Rosario Chavez. He doesn't have a favorite subject because he loves all his classes the same. Right now, he doesn't know which college he wants to attend as well. The major he wants to study, though, is medicine. And the reason he wants to study is because he likes science and to learn new things. The thing that he likes to find is for a cure for HIV and other diseases. He also wants to thank his parents and all the teachers that supported him every single moment he needed it. Thank you.
Okay, for Enrique Camarena, we'll have Mr. Mario Sosaya read the biography for Samantha Licona.
Samantha Licona is an 8th grader and Elizabeth Licona Barnello and Octavio Perez Berelleso. Her favorite hobbies include drawing, watching biographies, writing stories, and exercising. Her favorite subject in school is science. When she graduates, she would like to go to college to start her way on being a scientist. She would like to thank her dad, her grandma, and her mom for teaching her to value everything she has and working hard for her dreams.
And Mr. Sosaya will now read the biography for Exxon Luna.
Our second student of the month for Enrique Camarena Junior High School is Edson Luna. He's an 8th grader and is the son of Veronica Ceja. His hobbies include playing basketball with his friends. His favorite subject in school is Algebra 1. When he graduates, he would like to go to college for a bachelor's degree. He would like to thank all his teachers for helping him in school and supporting him in all of his subjects.
Okay, now Ms. Cortez will read the biography for Marcela Davila.
Marcela is a 7th grade student at William Moreno Junior High. Her parents, Rafael and Lourdes, are very proud of her. She currently has a 4.0 GPA. Marcela enjoys all her classes, but her favorite subjects are language arts, literature, and writing. Marcela enjoys listening alternative rock and punk music. Her favorite food is fried chicken and her favorite color is electric blue. Her dream car is silver Maserati. Marcela would like to travel to London and Paris, Athens, and Rome. Marcela would like to attend Stanford University and plan to study writing. Marcelo's role model is Ellen DeGeneres. Her goal for this year are to keep studying and maintain her 4.0 GPA because she wants to continue being in honors and get into Algebra 1 next year. Her future goals are to succeed on whatever she does.
And the young man for Willie Moreno this evening is David Guerrero.
I have him from my PE class. David is an 8th grade student at William Moreno Junior High. His parents, Ricardo and Georgina, are very proud of him. He has 2 brothers, Jose and Diego. He currently has a 3.83 GPA. David enjoys all his classes, but his favorite subject is math. David enjoys listening to reggaeton. His favorite food is tacos al pastor, and his favorite colors are green and blue. His dream car is Convert ZL1. David would like to travel and see Spain. David would like to attend SDSU. After college, David aspires to become a math teacher. His role model is his father. His goals for this year are to have a perfect body because it's healthy. His future goals include becoming a teacher. Thank you.
I would like to ask I would like to ask Frida Castro and Ms. Algabres to please stand. I just wanted to give a special recognition to these 2 young ladies. They have been wonderful representatives for their schools here at the board meetings, and just to congratulate them on their upcoming graduations from their high schools. And I know that your schools will miss you because you have been a wonderful asset to both of your schools. And so congratulations on graduating, and congratulations and good luck on anything that you decide to do in your future. Good luck and take care.
El Ciro. We're going to move on to our second part of our presentations. We have the Calexico High School Migrant Debate Team recognition. If we could have Mr. Raul Ureña, Mr. Jose Zazueta, Ms. Leslie Hernandez, and if their advisor, Ms. Ashley Reitzma, is here. Would you please come up? Okay. So what we're going to do right now, because we really would like the Migrant Debate Advisor, Ms. Ashley Reitzma, to be here, and she's not here yet. We'd really like her to be here so that we can honor these kids, honor all of her effort as well in front of her students. We're going to put that on hold while she gets here. So what we're going to do right now is celebrate with you all students that received recognition tonight by offering you cake that's in the back. We're going to take about a 15-minute break. Okay, there were some students that have some gifts pending for them. So if you can come up here, do they know who they are? We have
Mario Sosaya, Daniela Cortez. Okay,
and Denise Gonzalez
well, for Gabriel Peña.
for Gabriel Peña. So if you all three can come up here. All right, so at this time, we are going to take a break. There is cake for everybody in the back. We'll take about a 15, 20-minute break. Thank you. Break. We're going to continue on item number 2 under J, presentations, the Calexico High School Migrant Debate Team recognition. I believe Ms. Reitzma has arrived, so we could have Mr. Ureña, Mr. Zazueta, and Ms. Leslie Hernandez come up, as well as Ms. Reitzma, please.
You know, it was a great pleasure to attend It was a great pleasure to attend the ICOE board meeting a couple of weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, where our students from our migrant team and the teacher as well were recognized by Imperial County Office of Education's board for their achievements at the state competition. And it was beautiful to watch everyone that they recognized throughout the county, but our kids were really highlighted because this is a team that has demonstrated consistency and growth, and it's just a pleasure to know that wherever our kids are at, they really do exemplify the pride, honor, and excellence that Calexico High School has in its programs, in particular the migrant debate team. So congratulations to Mr. Raul Ureña, congratulations to Ms. Leslie Hernandez and Mr. Jose Zazueta, who's not here tonight, and then of course Ms. Reitzma in this very well-trained team. I don't know if any one of them wants to speak.
I'm a tall mamma jamma, so. Okay. I asked Raul right now if he wanted to speak. He said, after you. Well, thank you. That never happens. I do want to recognize these two individuals, and Jose Zazueta as well, couldn't be here tonight. But I want everybody in the room to take a very good look at them because they are going to be somewhere in Sacramento, Washington, D.C., doing brilliant and wonderful things. And as their coach, I'm very proud of them, but I do also have to thank their parents for letting me have access to their kids because I take time from spring break, I take time from Christmas break, and I don't know if it's just that they're like, please take my children from me, or if they actually trust me that much, but I do want to tell you how honored I am to spend so much time with your students, doing amazing things that they do and impressing everybody for being from Calexico. All right, thank you. And I will say too that as their coach, I am very proud of them when they debate. However, sometimes it does come back to bite you. okay? Like, can I go to the restroom? No. Well, let's have a 20-minute conversation about it. So, but I am proud of you. I'm proud of all of you. Good job.
Well, it is an honor, and it's an honor to hear such kind words from an absolutely awesome migrant debate coach, whom I see a lot of, actually. She's my speech teacher. She was my speech and debate teacher during the summer, AP English teacher, mock trial coach, and now my migrant debate coach. So it's absolutely awesome. But I mean, apart from that, I have to thank myself. I have to thank Leslie for being Leslie for being part of my team, Jose, which isn't here, but I know he's doing wonderful things. And of course, my parents, which have always been very, very supportive of all I do, letting me come here to the school board meetings, letting me go to the city council meetings, all of this which reinforces and applies to migrant debate and migrant speech. So thank you all very much.
No, I just wanted to remind our audience that they did win second place at the state. There were several teams, and so for them to be a statewide in the top 3, I think that's extremely commendable. In addition to just another reminder that regionally here in our valley, they were the first place team for debate. So congratulations to this winning team.
Leslie is my only shy debate team member, but don't let her fool you, because once she gets behind that table, watch out.
Well, thank you, and congratulations to the 3 of you students and to your debate coach for the great job that you do in representing the district and representing the high school and representing all of us up there where you went. So thank you for your dedication, Ms. Reitzma, to what you do, and for the students that I think they're going to take this with them, like you said, forever, and use those skills. Mr. Oreña, we see you publicly everywhere putting these skills to the test, and you're really one of those change makers as well as you. So congratulations once again, and thank you. We are still under item J in our agenda, number 3, Common Core Implementation Funds Plan. Ms. Ambriz.
Yes, good evening. What I'm going to present tonight is the Common Core Implementation Plan that we have for Calexico Unified School District. And I have copies of the plan over here on the table for members of the audience if they wish to get a copy. So we do have them. Okay, so we'll get started. As part of the background information, and what's on the slide is actually straight out of the plan, so it's just here for public viewing. The purpose of tonight is to present the plan to the board and to the community, and then after review and at a separate meeting in the future, seek the board's approval. So this is an informational item so that you can have it as a presentation and have the time to look it over for review. So the background information to the Common Core Implementation Plan is that under Assembly Bill 86, Section 85, of the Budget Act of 2013, it was provided that a sum of $1,250 million be appropriated from the general fund to the Superintendent of Public Instruction for transfer to Section A of the State School Fund. So in other words, there was an Assembly bill that allowed for billions of dollars to be handed to the Superintendent of Public Instruction, who in turn provided allocations to all the school districts in the state. As a result of this bill, the sum of $1,849,459 was allocated to Calexico Unified School District. So why AB 86 and why the allocation? The legislative intent of AB 86 is that school districts, including offices of education, charter schools, special schools, etc., use these allocations pursuant to subdivision B to support the integration of the academic content standards in instruction adopted pursuant to Education Code sections 60605.8 et al., all the different ed codes. For kindergarten, actually in our district for transitional kinder through grades 1 through 12 as well, for establishing high quality programs for all of our pupils. And the basic intent is to provide additional services to our students. School districts, county offices of education, etc., may encumber the funds apportioned pursuant to this section at any time during the 13-14 school year, which would have been this one, or 14-15 fiscal year, which is next year. So, in a nutshell, the Common Core Implementation Fund provides one-time funding. This is a special pot of money, $1.849 million, and it could be expended on three primary areas: professional development, materials, and technology such as infrastructure, hardware, software, connectivity. So in expending the funds, and I'm going to have to use this one because my eyes aren't that great, the funds are allocated pursuant to this section for, again, the three areas that I mentioned before: professional development, instructional materials, and technology. So when we talk about professional development, it would be professional development for teachers, administrators, paraprofessionals, anyone involved in the direct instruction of our pupils, so that they can have access to the Common Core. In instructional materials, again, materials that are aligned to the academic content standards, and including, not limited to, supplemental instructional materials as provided by Ed Code. Additionally, the third area, which is technology, it could be used for the integration of academic content standards through technology-based instruction for purposes of improving the academic performance of students, including and not limited to expenditures necessary to support the administration of computer-based assessments and provide high-speed, high-bandwidth internet connectivity for the purposes of administration of computer-based assessments. As our schools have rolled out the SBAC testing these last couple of pilot years, we continue to find that our major challenges in technology is the connectivity piece. Sometimes when too many computers were running at the same time, the programs were either slow or not functional. So connectivity points, access points continue to be a big need in our district. So there are some conditions for receiving and expending these funds, and as a condition for doing so, two things need to take place. Develop and adopt a plan that delineates how the allocations will be spent, and the plan shall be explained in a public meeting, and that's what I'm doing this evening, for the governing board before its adoption in a subsequent public meeting. And the second thing that we would have to do is report the detailed expenditure information to the State Board of Education on or before July 1st of 2015. So funding accountability, with anything comes accountability. And funding allocations under AB 86, again, are intended to fund the cost of any new programs or higher levels of service associated with the implementation of academic content standards. And any of our allocations, that we use, are subject to annual audits as required by Ed Code 41020. So the actual plan itself is what's coming up next. So for Calexico Unified, having received the in excess of $1.8 million, again, just as a brief review, it can be expended in one, two, or all three of the following areas, and as mentioned before, professional development, materials, and technology. In developing the plan, we went through a process. It was a collaborative process with district-wide administrators and a team of representatives from Associated Calexico Teachers, our ACT group. And we participated in a series of meetings to determine what the best course of action would be in expending the 1.8 one-time Common Core funding. As a basis of our discussion and dialogue and the back and forth, we used surveys between the teachers that were teacher-driven and administrator-driven, taking into account what our technology is, the current versus desired, and then also what our materials are, current versus desired, in terms of supplemental materials and/or resources. In reviewing the survey results, the preponderance of stated need was in the area of technology and materials to support the higher levels of achievement with the implementation of the Common Core. That's not to say that professional development was disregarded in the dialogue and in the process, although as part of this ongoing dialogue, we believe that it's the actual resources that are in the classroom at teacher and administrative disposal so that we can have that direct instruction that's at an elevated level with our kids in the classroom, especially when we know that all of our assessments in the future will be technology driven. And the big piece to consider is that how ready will our students be in using the technology as they conduct their assessments next spring, for example? And so that is one of the reasons why technology as a resource, as a material resource as well, is important in this plan. Also, taken into consideration matters. Discussion was held regarding how and when technology is also defined as an instructional material and resource for enhanced classroom instruction, and that the technology equipment purchased with AB 86 funding is considered a classroom material or resource if 100% of its use is for direct instruction with students. The best use of our technology will be to better prepare our students to be able to utilize the technology as a learning tool and as an assessment tool. So as part of the expenditure plan, in determining how to best use the 1.8 plus funding, it was important to determine how that total reflected a per pupil account in Calexico Unified School District. And the allocation to Calexico Unified was determined from the 2012-13 school enrollment on our census day of 9,203 students, which translated into $200.96 per student. As we break the numbers down a little further, we have the enrollment number for the census day for these schools. And if we look down the list, we have Blanche Charles with 603 students, Cesar Chavez with 1,065, Dual 656, Jefferson 638, Kennedy Gardens 607, Mains 453, Rockwood 604, for a total of 4,626 students in the TK 6 grade span. Now, there was a question regarding the numbers of Dual and Jefferson as to whether the numbers were inverted in any way. And what we have to remember is that that particular year, 12-13, Dual was housing the students from Jefferson at the primary, kinder, and first grade, and that's why there's a slightly higher number. And so for Dual, so if we were if there were to be another one-time allotment in the future, likely the number for Jefferson would be higher then, because Jefferson does tend to have a higher enrollment. And again, then we multiply, of course, that allocation times 200, the allocation of 296 and 96 cents times the enrollment, and that's where we get the school's overall allocation. And for the elementary grade span, that's a total of $929,640 with 96 cents, if I did my math correctly. So how will the elementary expend their plan to expend their allocations? The schools will expend those allocations according to the following. 90% would be supplemental materials and resources, with 10% being technology. And of course, considering that technology is also considered a material and resource, obviously we could use some of the 90% and vice versa interchangeably. Each site principal will keep a log of expenditures, as each TK 6th grade level team, inclusive of teachers providing instruction to students with special needs, such as the SDC and RSB, will be able to use the funds for purchasing materials and/or technology. Then as we go into the secondary grade span, we have the numbers for Aurora High School for the 2012-13 census day at 206 students, Calexico High School main campus at 2,166, Calexico High School 9th grade at 766, Enrique Camarena at 688, Willie Moreno at 751, and total for the secondary grade span, 4,577 students. And with, of course, multiplying it out, we would have 919,793.92 for the secondary grade span. And as we go into, again, very similarly to the elementary grade span, the funds would be expended, or the allocations would be expended, 90% supplemental materials and resources, 10% technology. The difference here lies in not being expended by or allotted to teachers by grade level, but rather subject area and department. So each secondary school will receive and distribute its allocation according to department and subject matter. Each site principal will keep a log of expenditures as it is expended by department and subject matter, and they will be used to purchase the materials and/or technology. And this is what the Common Core implementation plan looks like for Calexico Unified School District. Questions?
Any questions from anyone on the board? I have some questions. You want to go first?
Ms. Ambry, since we know about the issue with the 12-13 census in regards to Dual and Jefferson, could we not use the real numbers?
I'm sure we could. I don't see why we couldn't. I think the reason why we allowed them to stay that way is because Dual did incur the cost of educating those students that particular year. But, you know, it's I believe a 20-some student difference or so, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, $200 each.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just asking, just to make it fair. I mean, we know that the census was going to show more kids at Dual because of being housed there, but I wasn't sure if we needed to use those or the actual amount of students, because then we may have less resources for Jefferson School, which has more students.
One of the, and I understand what you're saying, one of the pieces of our dialogue during these meetings was that we also recognize the need that some schools are better equipped in the area of technology than others, and that there would be some consideration for that within these allotments and allocations. So again, that's also part of this being a public document being presented to you, so that if any adjustments needs to be made, I'm sure that we can bring these back and make the adjustments that are necessary.
One other question, Madam President. Has there been any technology calculations as to how much it would cost to broaden the band of the school, or are we going to do wireless throughout the district?
You know, there is a document, and unfortunately, Mr. McFadden isn't here, and I don't have it with me, so I apologize for that. But there is a document that does have the district's technological needs, et cetera, and what it would cost. Of course, the whole 1.8 wouldn't be able to cover all of our technology needs, but this could help in that area. And then, of course, we're also looking into either the E-rate and everything else that we have coming with the LCAP and LCFF as we go forth. But yes, we do have that document that shows what our needs are in technology. And I'll forward that to you as well.
I have some questions, Ms.
Yes.
Alvarez, on, you state that what you took into consideration were some surveys. So I see there's a teacher survey, an administrator survey. It says technology. I don't know if that's a survey.
That's the technology survey that we received from Mr. McFadden, because they did an assessment for our technology use, and it's a survey that they completed with the district itself and with the county. The county also gave us the numbers that they have on file for us, and we did a comparison.
Okay, and then number 4 were material needs, and again, I don't know if that was through an assessment, but I have several questions here, because on your material needs, maybe because with Common Core being so new, and I think there hasn't been a formal adoption of anything in particular. How
Correct.
do you gauge what materials you're going to need without having adopted anything
Yeah.
formal in terms of curriculum?
Yes, correct. Really, there is no formal adoption for Common Core materials at this time, and that's going to be something that plays out even in our LCAP, so that's why what's important are that the supplemental materials that the teachers need to provide the students the hands-on learning, the application-based learning, the projects-based learning, so that they can actually implement the Common Core. That's why our teachers need more of the supplemental materials, because there really isn't any state adoptions for any of the Common Core.
Can you give us some example of what can you define supplemental material and hands-on material so that we get an idea of what these conversations look like in terms of knowing what the current needs are, what the desired needs are? What would be an example of some supplemental material or hands-on material?
Well, in having our conversations with our teachers and our administrators, part of the things that they talked about is that they don't have all of the necessary workbooks that they could use with our students, that if there were science kits that they could use, or even math kits, et cetera, that they could use and implement in their classroom with either their current textbooks, and so that they could help demonstrate what the application base is within the Common Core, and those are the types of materials that they're looking at.
And those types of expenditures don't happen regularly on every year when teachers or school sites have a school budget and they say, I'm going to need these materials this year. And my question now, and let me focus it, because I think this is like you're ready to answer, because this is one-time money. And so my fervor in this endeavor has been, where have been the assessments to really gauge outside of what school sites can purchase year after year? Because I imagine year after year they're purchasing science kits, they're purchasing books, they're purchasing the material that they're going to need for that years. And then you just said right now that there is no really formal adoption. And I got some great feedback by, I visited Jefferson, and I got a lot of feedback and background information on material, adoptive curriculum versus things that teachers can do now to implement Common Core. But so really what I'm wondering is if those things that you just said now aren't just things that they normally purchase, and so why are we using this one-time money to purchase those materials? You're calling them supplemental hands-on, but it seems like it should be something that we should be doing anyway every year.
Okay. No, and we still have the capability of doing that with our either regular, currently our categorical funding, our regular general fund, et cetera. However, part of the ongoing discussion was to create as much equity and balance between what is available at all of the schools. And so that whereas some schools may need more of a supplemental hands-on, et cetera, some schools may need more of the technology as that educational resource. And so therefore, that's why there's this combination and there's this preponderance of need for the material and the technology. And that's why, as a group, we defined that technology would also be an educational supplemental resource, so that it's in the classroom, in the hands of the students, and in the hands of the teachers. Because it is a one-time fund, this is to enhance what we can continue to have, because we know that we're going to continue to use our LCFF funding going forward for all of our day-to-days that we have to purchase every single year anyway to continue to meet the needs of our kids, to continue to provide increased and improved services.
So if I used my one-time funding to buy a whole bunch of science kits, and then I'm done using them this year, and it was one-time funding, and then I use them up, what do I do next year?
We still have access to purchase materials and our kits through our LCFF funding, because those would be part of the expressed activities within our goals of meeting the Common Core as part of one of the state priorities.
Okay, and so then can you give me some examples of then what is the technology? Because you said that the one could cross into the other.
Yes.
So do you have a specific example of what technology, how we're defining technology in based on these three areas that we can use this one-time funding for? Because here, when I look at what you have in parentheses, it says hardware, software, connectivity, but you're saying that it's interchangeable between this and the definition of material. You're saying it's interchangeable.
It can be interchangeable, and because when we can use technology, for example, in terms of access points. If we need to purchase more access points at a particular school, some of this funding can be used to purchase these access points. However, we may also have a school or a grade level that says we'd like to purchase a set of laptops for the third grade, so they learn how to use it, so they're ready for SBAC. Then that becomes not just a technology piece, but it's also an educational resource, because it is part of their instruction in the classroom. They're not going to be handed the laptop on the day of the test. They're going to be, along the way throughout the year, be exposed to the computer, its use, lessons on it, so that when it's time to take those statewide assessments that are going to require them to be computer-based, that they are comfortable in using the technology so that they're, so that they can perform on these assessments, and they're not worried about, did I click the wrong button, but they're actually worried about addressing the questions on the exam.
And so then if we have computer labs in some or all schools, yet we're saying we're now going to leave it up to each school site and then per grade to decide what they need in their particular grade or in their particular classroom. And I say, I'm a teacher, I want to have a lab in my classroom because I don't want to take my students out to the school lab. I'd rather have it here. Are we not just doubling up and over purchasing things? And if we do that, if we have labs that are going on used or maybe underused or unused, because somebody chose to have him in the room instead and say, this is what I'm choosing to do with this one-time funding. Are we looking at that as well to make sure that this is spent, it's one-time funding, that it's spent
Wisely.
as wise as possible?
Yes, at the very, in particular with the elementary school settings and I'm going to focus there first. In particular with the elementary schools, it's geared at being at grade level discretion, because of their grade level meetings, because that's how they're doing their planning, and in addition to doing their grade level meetings at their school sites, they're also going to concentrate on doing district-wide initiatives so that what's going on in one school is translating into others as well. And so that we are maximizing on exposing our students to as much of the technology as possible that is going to help them be successful in their subjects and in their assessments as they roll out.
In your expenditure plan, you talk about the 1.8, a little over 1.8 million. We got that amount because we have over 9,000 students. It was divided here internally as a district to come up to this $200.96 per student. Was that something this district decided to do, to say that's how much we'll spend per student, or is that a state mandate to say that each student is going to get those $200? And then can you explain or maybe clarify for me then what of the special subgroups that we had to focus on, which were foster youth, English learners, and I think there's a third one, because I think when you spread it evenly across every student, you're maybe missing the mark on the specific, hold on, somebody's, the specific subgroups. And also, when you spread it that way and you divide it among the schools, you're going to have a school, kids want to flock to Cesar Chavez because it's a great school, right? So this school has more students than maybe another school that needs more. And we know that, and we've heard it, and we've had parents come here and say, "Listen, pay attention to my school. I need stuff." And I don't want to put any school down. I am advocating for every school of this district. But if I had kids in elementary, I'm going to bring them here to Cesar Chavez because they got more money, and this school is going to be flocked and flooded. Hold on. And where is Dual and where is Mains? Because now they're pulling them from there, and they're not getting anything. And I think this was an unjust way to say we're going to divide it evenly. It's not even. It's not equitable. And I think that some schools are getting very underserved here with this plan.
Okay, well, with regards to the $200 at the state level, that's what most of the schools received and school districts received an allocation. They received an approximate of $200 per student statewide. That's pretty much been the allocation statewide for everyone. What we did and why we ended up getting with that .96 above the 200 was because there was a little bit more than the 1.8. Now, when it comes to the Common Core plan itself, yes, there's the two things. There's the LCFF, and then there's the Common Core Implementation Fund. So the Common Core Implementation Fund is a one-time that is across the board to every school district, and it's based on their census reporting from the 2012-13 school year. So how this district received X amount of dollars was because Cesar Chavez had X amount of students, and because Jefferson and Dual and every single school had X amount of students. And the Common Core plan is exactly for that, just for one time to just provide additional monies for the schools. When it comes to the LCFF, that's where we have to specifically address the English learners, the underserved students, the low income, and your foster youth, etc. That comes through our LCFF, and that will be addressed in our LCAP.
Okay, I don't know that, I'm sorry that you addressed all of my questions, so I'm just going to make, I want to ask it again, I'm sorry, I'm just make a point that I think that the way this was distributed is not equitable, and it's not fair, not to take away from Cesar Chavez. I love this school, but I love all the schools as well, and I think that there are some schools that maybe have lower enrollment because everyone wants to come to this school. It's newer, it's nicer, but I don't know. I love Maine's because I went to Maine's, and let's take some stuff over there. I graduated from Dual, so I love Dual, and I want some resources there. But I'm a board member, so I love all the schools here, and I want all of them to look as lovely as this school. And to get the resources, this is our one shot to try to level that field, and I don't think this plan does that. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Ms. Aguilar.
I've got a question, or maybe it's more like a comment. When you're talking about technology, so say for example you said the 90-10 formula, and you're saying that a classroom resource could also be considered technology. For example, a school could choose to purchase 200 tablets, and it can be shared within the school, the whole school population.
Yes.
Say first grade this level, or this week, or this month, or so forth. Is that how you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in terms of I realized that expanding the broadband, is that correct term? Broadband?
Bandwidth, something.
Since LCFF is that's where it's based at, perhaps that should be a bigger focus. I think that should be the priority, because if it's one-time money, I don't know where we're going to get money again to be having at least some upgrade. I have brought it up in the past in terms of working together with Time Warner, going with what's that? Where they do it through the internet, and they're going
wireless,
maybe wireless, or something along those lines. And not to forget also that sometimes there's opportunities for technology grants. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Ms. Ambrices, I was looking at the plan here. I was making some calculations, and just for instance, on the Blanche Charles overall allocation, 121,178. If I heard you correctly, it's going to be by grade level and by class needs. I made the calculation give more or less the number of classrooms. That would probably be depending on what school and how many classrooms, it would be between $2,000 to $4,000 per classroom at each school site. That doesn't really buy much. And I hear Ms. Vizcarra when she says, it's one-time funding. It's like if we hire staff with this money, they become permanent. What happens to all those years till retirement? And that is something that we have discussed as to it's one-time funding, and if the Common Core is going to technology, we know that what we need is going to cost more than $1 million, $2 million, but we should look into that type of access instead of allowing the schools to say, okay, you need supplemental material, go ahead and buy that, because $2,000 is, even the $5,000 per classroom, it's not going to go very far. So it would be a waste to buy. We know they're going to end up buying either books that will be used this year and may not be able to be used within the following year, but that's money that we get from the budgets. So I would like to see more of an equitable thing where we sit down and say, okay, if it's technology that we need, let's see how much we can invest per student. I don't know how much tablets are now. I mean, every year we keep talking about tablets, not iPad, not Apple's computers or iPads or iPods or anything, but just regular tablets that can be incorporated with the Common Core. I think we could have more usage of that than buying materials with the one-time funding.
And again, this is a recognition that the 1.8 isn't going to resolve very many of our issues. It will help support our programs at all of our schools. And that is the reason why, like I said, there's an interchangeability between the technology and the supplemental materials, so that some of that technology is used as a classroom resource, not just viewed as something that's going to sit there and be underutilized and underused. I know that part of the discussion is being able to purchase software programs that would help the students in the classroom as well. So there's just, it's dependent on what's defined within the grade level teams and articulations, vertical and horizontally throughout the schools, and then throughout the K-6 population of teachers, and then through your secondary population of teachers as well at the secondary level.
And maybe because we know that a lot of the schools are doing their own, the curriculum may be the same, but it's the way they go about it. You know, Jefferson's more technological than Kennedy Gardens and stuff like that. And it would probably be easier if everybody was following the same thing. We've talked about this already, to where everybody is going on the same wavelength, but some schools are not, maybe because they don't have the funding, they don't have the materials and stuff like that. So I know she's behind you, and I think she's dying to say something.
And we do have your slip, Ms. Ramirez Taylor, so we will acknowledge in a minute.
So I you know, the more I listen to you, I think that's maybe one of the reasons, because some school, in the elementary level I'm talking about, they're not doing the same thing, or they're not at the same level.
Right.
That there is different needs at the school sites. And with the Common Core, we would like to see every elementary working together with the same thing, but for some reason or other.
And this is part of what they want to use the funding for, is to provide more equity and parity amongst the different schools, because there's the autonomy that every school does possess will continue to be part of their identity. But what they would like to use part or most of this funding is to provide equity and parity amongst the different schools.
And I don't know that it was, like, let's say, necessarily the spirit of the one-time funding that would fit the way you described it, because I'm going to go back to when I first started my comment was, I see that you surveyed teachers and administrators, and where were the rest of the stakeholders? You know, were parents surveyed, were students surveyed, was the community surveyed, were we as a board surveyed to see, you know, how do we define the spirit of this $1.8 million? Because it impacts our students, it impacts what happens in their homes. If we have expectations of them at school that we expect for them to follow up at home, and we're not providing that safety net in their homes for them to successfully continue implementing this Common Core, we're going to have failed. And again, my point is that this is a one-time opportunity for us to have really looked at this in the spirit of what it looks like for us, what it looks like for a parent. I'm a parent as well. And if you told me, if I asked any parent here, is $200 going to get your son very far? What can they do? You know, I have 2 children still in the school district. If you told me you're going to spend $200 on them, and that's going to get them forward, I'll tell you, know what, then let me offer it to another student that would maybe need it a little more. Because I don't see that it was really the spirit of this one-time funding.
Yeah, no, we know that $200 isn't going to do a lot for the students and the student needs, but it is more than what they did have in terms, because this is an additional
I see,
pot,
but
an
I
additional
think
pot of money, so to speak.
that attitude of, well, if this is kind of, that's it for now. I have a daughter that still has like 5 more years to go. Is this $200 that she's getting this one time gonna help her from 8th grade, 9, 10, 11, 12 in this school district? If I'm a parent of a 4-year-old in TK, is that $200 gonna have gotten? If this technology that they're gonna receive there going to last all the way to 12th grade? So that's my point, Ms. Taylor. I know you're there, Ms. I don't know, somebody said if you had something more, but I want to give Ms. Taylor the
No, thank you.
opportunity to speak.
Thank you. About 2 months ago, I was here and I asked the board if you would support an LCAP committee. And the reason for it was because of the questions that you're asking actually right now. So we were supported. We got a committee of 15 teachers from each school. We also had the opportunity to meet with all the administrators. Each of those members of the LCAP committee, we went to each of our schools and surveyed every single teacher. And from those surveys and from our meetings and our discussions, we talked about equity, and we talked about the reality of $200, what is it going to do? And we've all together, this is the first document that I know of that represents us working together. So if you think about what's here, what we have, we talked about technology a lot because of the differences in schools and what they need, but also we saw that we have other things coming up, like we have the E-rate, we have the LCCFF funds coming, and we will make a plan. We're working on a plan to implement throughout the years so that all schools in the district will have equal access. Now, the reason why we made the 90-10 was because when we were talking about it, I give an example, as a matter of fact, that I would, for example, in my class, I could buy a telescope. That's never gonna happen ever again. And I don't know how much I could use for that purchase, but that would give access to my students this year, my students next year, and if I get to work here for 15 more years, I think, or 20, I think it will work for all those 20 years. We realize that some schools have more technology and other resources, but as far as materials, many teachers, and I'm talking, for all of the teacher survey, have not received materials in years, okay? And as a science teacher, we kind of feel it, I think, because we use things and they run out and then we purchase them. But that's an example.
Can you give examples of, you just said science.
Uh-huh.
Can you give examples of what is that you're talking about? Because we didn't see the surveys.
Oh, yes, and we would love for you to join us, because the questions that you had are the same questions that we debated for hours. Yeah. And this was the best thing that we could come up with. This was the best formula. So you want examples of
yeah, what kind of examples of materials came up from each school? I think if we would have been able to see the surveys, maybe not the people that filled it out, but see the survey as to what were the needs, or maybe prioritize the surveys by needs, it would have been easier for us to understand what this plan is saying, is including.
Yes, and I think that this is the end product of all those dialogues, but I understand what you're saying. The needs of each, what we found out is that needs for each level, we were thinking the school, but what we found out is that needs for each level, grade level, and for each site were similar, but also very unique. So there's schools that might need more things. we thought that also this gave some flexibility for instead of saying, okay, all of you have to purchase this with this money, it gave a flexibility to teachers, and that we have never had in the past. So I think that we could provide you with the survey. We could share with you our process, because like I said, this was our best that we did.
And I think that's what Ms. Vizcarra was asking, as to give me some examples of what is it that you guys plan to buy with this, because, and I'm just going to speak on my behalf because I used to work at a school site. At the end of the year, the district office would say, okay, you guys have this money, you have to spend it within 15 days, you have to type out the purchase orders and everything. We would really go on a shopping spree that had nothing to do with the instruction. It was Post-its, it was paper, it was, things like that, crayons, stuff like that for the next year.
Yeah.
But it was never really the real wish list that teachers needed.
Yes.
To follow the next year. So by the time you bought boxes of reams of paper and crayons and everything, the money was gone.
And I think that each side can develop their list and plan, and then that could be reviewed if that's something that it's necessary. But I think that I don't have a list for each of the schools. What do we want? But we wanted to have flexibility because of the disparity. So, and everybody present had say, and this was a very democratic process, but is representing administration, district, and teachers. That's what this represents. Parent input, we have had for the LCAP, but not for the 1.8. Yeah.
And Trustee Duarte and all trustees, I do have the copies of the survey results by school, so I can easily forward those to you as well. So you can see what the priorities at Jefferson are, for example, in comparison to the priorities for Rockwood. And there are needs in the areas such as technology and instructional materials, but you can see what the different technological needs are at every single school, because some are more access points in comparison to perhaps more hardware, software, depending on what it is.
The other thing is that there is an increasing focus on STEM courses, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And as you guys were speaking, I'm looking at the different grants, and there are grants available. For example, with the Department of, where is it? Give me a minute. I had it right here. Through the U.S. Department of Education, some private foundations, and so forth. So I mean, like working together with MESA, which focuses on science and technologies, working together, writing grants with the district, and that could help us enhance our science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you. I do invite you to
information.
join us for our LCAP meetings. We get along very well. And I think that it's actually a very positive thing. So, and we also would like your input if you feel that there's a different formula that would be more equitable, because it is very difficult to do.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback. Well, thank you, all, Ms. Zambiris, for your report, for sharing this with us now, allowing us the opportunity to see in this public forum how this is being put together. I hope that what we have to say tonight, what we had to say, is considered, because at the end of the day, this is something we have to live with for, from here on forward. And I think we need to know that what we decide in the next coming months is something that is going to serve our students and our community in the long run, because this is very different. This is doing things in a different way, and definitely a one-time opportunity to look at the way we get funding and do something great with it. Thank you. We're going to move on in our agenda. We have our superintendent's report coming up next. We do have a public comment on this item. We have Ms. Annette Butner.
Good evening, Annette Butner, parents from Calexico. Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I didn't see anywhere in the plan exactly what funds will be made available for accelerated study options for students who have advanced math skills to ensure that they're not held back. And the reason I ask is because I see a lot of our kids, I see a lot of bright students, and they're falling through the cracks. And so what are we doing to not let that happen? I know we're pushing to get our students that are far below basic, pushing them over, but I think we're also neglecting the students that have that potential to excel. And I don't see that catching kids. And I didn't see anything in the plan for that, and I think it's important. I think we need to push our students to do well, especially at the high school level. I understand, I know there's AP classes and advanced classes, but those are just one subject here, one subject there. Why not a whole day curriculum for those advanced students? Push them over and help them to excel, help them to get those scholarships, because I don't think we're tapping into those resources. Helping kids get scholarships and financial aid, helping them with the FAFSA forms, simple things like that. And I think our students lose out on those opportunities. And we need to be there. We need to catch that. We need to push that. We have the migrant debate here, and I see all these students, and I know these students are here because they work hard, they're diligent, they're very bright students, and they want to push forward. So what are we offering them? How can we get them to do even better? What resources do we have for them? I know this is very technology oriented. Well, what technology are we offering? I know that up to a few years ago, we were having teachers take trainings on the GATE curriculum, but yet we don't have any GATE curriculum. And this is where our kids slide back. We don't challenge them. They're not engaged in the classroom. Why? Because they're up in the clouds and the class is moving along, but maybe not fast enough for them. Once they get to junior high, puberty hits. Once they everything starts changing, and we start losing more kids there too. Then they get to high school and they get busier, they get more activities, they start dating, and then they start slipping more through the cracks. And what are we doing to engage these kids and retain these kids and keep these kids active and giving them that passion for learning, the passion for the subject that they're learning? We need to do more, and we need to take advantage of these funds that are now available and look towards getting these kids ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butner. Ms. Ambriz.
Yes. Well, good evening again. When it comes to the comments that Mrs. Butner has made, and she has very valid points, and of course taking into consideration the trustee comments tonight, I can tell you that a lot of, if not all of your questions and concerns will definitely be addressed as we play out the LCAP for the use of our LCFF funding, so that our students can receive these challenging curriculums, and so that we can keep them more engaged. You will be very very impressed at the hard work that the teachers group and the administrative group that has been working on this development of the LCAP, and we should be having some sort of document ready for at least initial review within the next few days. Part of that document and the plan, the LCAP, taking into consideration teacher and parent and student view, as I shared with the Migrant Parent Advisory Committee meeting last night, the students' voices were loud and very clear, and in wanting to support their teachers in getting them the best resources available to them in their hands so they can engage the students. And also what the students clamor for are more challenging classes in the area of science, math, and different languages, etc. And so they're setting the bar for themselves. So it's a very positive direction that we'll be taking as we go forth. As you know, we've had a couple weeks ago, Mrs. Butner was there as a board member. ICOE's board meeting, they recognized our migrant debate team. It was just a great experience to see our kids shining. We are continuing with the facilities master plan development. We've had different community meetings at the different school sites, some more better attended than others, and so hopefully we'll be able to have a facilities master plan presented to you in the next few weeks, sometime this summer, what the outcome is and what the priorities are for facilities in our district as that plays out. One of the things that I was very impressed with the last couple of weeks are the activities that are student-centered at our sites, such as Camp 10 and the electives fairs at the junior highs. I am very pleased to see that our site principals are asking our students to, I don't want to say sell, but promote, I think that's the better word, promote the academics and the school life from their site at another site. For example, there were students from the 9th grade that went to the junior highs, and to speak about, you know, when you go to the 9th grade, this is what you're going to be seeing, and these are the types of teachers you're going to be working with, and the types of curriculums, and be a part of it every day. And I thought it's just very exciting to see that. I got to witness Camp 10, I believe that was yesterday at Calexico High School. And so it's just really good to see the students involved in promoting their schools. And for right now, I'm going to leave it there. The biggest part of my report tonight was the Common Core. Oh, and we attended the school services meeting today.
Yes,
Very
we
long
did.
day.
Thank you, Ms. Ambriz. We're on section L. If you're following the agenda, that's association comments. We have ACT, Mr. Taylor. Congratulations, Mr. Taylor, the new ACT president.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. That's right, I am the newly elected ACT president. I've been president for a week now, and it has been quite a first week, to say the least. A few days ago, I had the pleasure of attending the recognition of service ceremony in this very room. A couple of you were there, and it was great to see you there. I was accepting my pin for 10 years of service in this district, and as I reviewed the program for the night and read all of the names of all of the teachers who were being honored for not one decade of service like I was, but for decades of service, I could not help but feel the gravity of the moment sitting among teachers who have given so many years of their life to this district and to the students of Calexico. In these teachers, I could see my own future as a teacher, and what I saw was very encouraging to me. I saw smiles and laughter. I saw camaraderie. I saw congratulations. And I saw teachers who, though they've been in the classroom 3 times longer than I have, they still have it in them to keep going another year and another. And in that, I saw hope for myself, hope that I can feel like they do decades from now. I am honored to have been elected by these teachers as they have put their hope in me, and I will do everything in my power to represent their needs and to work with you to make sure our teachers are respected, acknowledged, and justly treated by the leaders of a community that they have helped shape. I am privileged to speak to you on their behalf, and I look forward to working with you this year to accomplish all of our goals. I'm going to keep it real short. So thank you, and I just want to thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor, and congratulations once again. Do we have CSEA here? Yes, we do. Mr. Rodriguez?
Very nice presentation by ACT President. Congratulations, Mr. Taylor. I wish you well. Board members, superintendent, parents, administrators, and teachers, and most of all, my fellow classified employees. Today, I come up here and I want to remind everybody it is Classified School Employees Week, something that started back in when they formed the Oakland Custodians Union in 1927, which later became CSEA, an organization that has dedicated itself to getting better working conditions for classified school employees. Classified school employees and its custodians. We don't have janitors in this district. We have custodians. We have cafeteria service workers. We have security proctors. We have secretaries, clerks. We have groundsmen. We have transportation specialists. We are all proud to be working here at Calexico Unified. Our chapter is the largest in the valley. It is also very well respected statewide. We have had the privilege and the honor of having a lot of individuals from our chapter appointed to state level committees for California School Employees Association. I work at dual school. I need to make a little comment here. I work at dual school. I went to school at dual school. My father went to the original dual school. Dual school has been around for a long time. One of our buildings was constructed in 1948. That's one of our kindergarten rooms, room 11. It was constructed in 1948. And we have taken very good care of that room. That probably should be put up to be a historical site in Calexico. Anything you can do to channel some money our way, we really would appreciate that at dual school. In keeping back with the celebrating Classified School Employees Week, we put up banners all around town at all our schools. I'm sure that the board members have seen them. It was a program that we worked together, our executive board, for about 3 months to get it up so everybody would celebrate. It's a citywide celebration, but it's not just citywide, it's statewide. The whole state of California is celebrating, and we want to thank our school board, we want to thank our administrators, we want to thank the teachers for honoring us this week and recognizing what we do for the school, for the students of Calexico Unified. And on that note, I'm going to turn the podium over to Mr. Chris De La Rosa, who will take over for me. Thank you.
Good evening, members of administration and trustees. I just wanted to take a few minutes just to inform everybody in the audience as well as everybody here at the table. If you didn't know, we extended, I extended on behalf of Cesar Rodriguez, the president of CSEA, an invitation with the blessing of administration. You need to know we went in for a blessing too. So we need a release time, what have you. But we extended an invitation to the members of the school board to join us this week appropriately is Classified School Week and Classified School Employees Week, and we wanted to give the school board members a first-hand look as best as we could into the kind of a backstage or behind-the-scenes look at classified employees to see what services are provided really by the classifications that we have. And we're happy that four out of 5 of you agreed to show up, and you participated. Mr. Calderon came later in the afternoon, and I took him actually kind of a one-on-one thing to sites because the guys had to go to a chapter meeting. And Ms. Vizcarra, Zuno, Ms. Aguilar, and Mr. Ortega joined us on the majority of the sites. And we really appreciate having the opportunity to show you, our members, the service we provide. With that comes, bending your ear a little bit as to some of the concerns that happen that we have and stuff like that. But it was really, really a good day. And I went home. I got home maybe 6:30 when me and you ended. And my day started at 4 a.m. And I thought it was one of the best days I had here in the school district. Just being able to show and share the classified employees with you. And hopefully you were enlightened a little bit as to the services we provide. And maybe it's the first time, and maybe it's something we can do every year during this week. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you to both our associations for their comments tonight. Again, if you're following the agenda, we are on item M, comments from the public. And I do want to point out to those of you that turned in slips for public comment, and a lot of you turned in agenda item D. Item D was our comments on our closed session item, and a lot of you did come up to me to correct that item. I have corrected it on the slips I have in front of me. It's actually item M, which is public comment on the rest of our agenda. So I just want you to know that, so you didn't come up during item D. That was our closed session items, and I think you corrected it yourselves, and it is item M. And I'm going to call you up in order in which you turned in your slip. We have Mr. Jonas Barra.
Hi, good evening. Well, first of all, I want to say that, I'm a senior in high school, and I like to say that there's a lot of other students, peers of mine, that have concerns that have been unattended, which is part of the reason why I'm here, representing a union of over 600 students. And first, I'm going to go over some general points that we've made. And one of those being that we make a board retreat to discuss certain items. One being a lot of students wanted a formal student union made. And this student union would act sort of as a check on administrative power. We feel that there's a lot of power being held with the administration right now, and a lot of our concerns are just not being answered. And I think that a union of our own peers would be better, something where we could report every now and then to the administration themselves or to the district. Secondly, we had a concern about the revision of the student handbook, which a lot of us believed was a little unconstitutional because we felt that it has us waive some of our rights at the beginning of the year. And basically, if this handbook is not signed, we can't attend school. And as we know, it's a federal mandate to attend school. So I think that some of the policies and some of the things in that handbook do need to be reviewed, as well as some of the dress code in that handbook, such as sunglasses. I mean, we are in a community where the sun is very hot, and it can have a long-term effect on a lot of us on our eyes. So that's definitely one of the things. Another point that we made were certain health issues that we saw in school, and these have become actually very apparent and public in our gym, in our kitchen, and in the restrooms. I think that this is something that definitely needs to be addressed because, well, a lot of students are noticing this, and I think it's a little embarrassing of our school to have that. There was another a request from students that wanted an LGBTQ club put into school, and I think that that's something that should definitely be looked into. This is a club that many students would love to have in place for simply the support of it. There's also a concern about the fences in place at the school. We found that these fences were in place for our protection. However, we found that really it sort of impedes on our safety when it comes to natural disasters and fires, as these fences can only be accessed by school staff. And in a case of an actual emergency, if the staff isn't there quick enough, we as students have to wait until that's accessible to us. Would you like?
Okay. I'm sorry, just your 3-minute bell rang, because if you have one more point.
Yeah,
go
I
ahead and
have
let you
just
make it.
one more. I just lastly want to tell you guys about some of the implications that have been happening to the students that were in Mr. Hodges' class. There's been a lot of concern about especially the finals in place. A lot of the things that we had planned in the curriculum, especially in the drama class, to those of us who wanted to pursue a visual performance education. Well, we can't do that with the substitute there. And especially to those of us who are seniors who are about to graduate, I feel like this is something that needs to be attended to immediately, because, with these last weeks of school, we'd love to get as much out of the curriculum as we can possible. Yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Porras. Mr. Raúl Ureña.
Good evening, everyone, school board members, public. As Mr. Parra mentioned, we have created a student union which represents about 600 members, and I'm second in command of that. And so as a student union, we feel that the reason we created the student union was necessary because nobody was representing us. As Mr. Calderon said I think it was a couple meetings ago, he asked, I know that the school board members have their interests. The teachers want to represent teachers, CSEA members, and I was told that ASB was my union. ASB is not my union. ASB is prone to having their grade deductive if the director of ASB does not like what they're doing. There is absolutely no formal union of students that represents purely what students want at school. And what students want at school is social change. We want to push this school district into the 21st century. We're still living in 1980. I mean, with the policies we have policies in place, as in the dress code. We have administrators that will send you to detention. They will make you sit quietly in an hour in a very quiet place because you have ripped jeans, because your skirt is too short. And not to mention that, but the implications of free speech at school. When we were doing everything about Mr. Hodge, supporting Mr. Hodge inside of school, Mr. Miramon, we made posters, nothing offensive, said free Hodge, and that's it. He ripped those posters out of our hands and threw them into the dumpster. Not the trash can, directly into the dumpster. And with that goes our free speech, goes our Fourth Amendment right, Fifth Amendment right, Sixth Amendment right. And we need those back. We need to sit down, You as a board, us as representatives of the students, not ASB, not the ASB director or anybody else, but as students. And we need to sit down, look at the mess that is your dress code, the mess that is Calexico's discipline matrix, the mess that is that student handbook that you make us sign every year. We need to sit down, look at it with a constitutional lens, and make sure that all of our rights are protected and expanded at school. Because we can't learn in a box. We just can't. We have to have every venue of free expression so that we can fortify and solidify all that we are learning at school. Thank you.
Esquivel, Mr. and Mrs., is it Ita Nucci? Esquivel?
Well, first of all, hi, I'm Ita. I'm a junior at Calexico High School. And about the dress code, people are always saying boys will be boys because of the dress code. Supposedly it's too revealing or something. And I totally disagree with that. If we had a more custom dress code to our attends as girls, because it's really hot, and I'm pretty sure you all understand that, we can actually send a message about maturity, or even better, like, they can actually start respecting us more by doing that, because we have a right to kind of dress like that. I mean, it's Calexico. We should be the ones with that. And also something is near room 26, there's a bathroom, and there's no place for girls to dispose of their feminine products. So when you walk in the corner, you always see a bunch of, feminine products piled up there, used, obviously. And I really think that needs to be fixed, because when I go in there, that's a disgusting sight to see. So, yeah. Done.
Thank you. Mr. Hector Godoy?
Hi, my name is Hector Godoy. I may not be a student. I am a former student of Calexico High School. I am now attending Aurora. But even though if I'm not part of the school, I have family members that are entering the school that want to be in band, which is where I have my problem at. The band director enforced, he put these rules for us that he does not follow himself, which, makes us students concerned, makes the band students concerned about, how he's treating the students, that he put that, oh my God, he put that, sorry, I have stage fright. Mr. Navarrete, as a band teacher, should treat all students with respect. There are places in the band that are called the drum major and section leaders. They have their roles in teaching, making their peers advance a little by little. But Navarrete restricts their powers on what they're supposed to do by himself. He does not let us section leaders and drum majors do what we're supposed to. He basically just, if we want to do something with this other students, a private little session for one student to get better, if he or she is behind, he says no, let him do it on his own. He has his own time at his house. Most of the students do not agree with that. I find that inappropriate as a band director, as a teacher, and as a staff member. He has no right to be saying no to that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Joseph Moreno?
Good evening. I'm Joseph Moreno, and I'm a junior at Calexico High School. I speak on behalf of the student union. And I would like to bring up the very relevant topic of the school not having a LGBTQ club. I feel that it is something that we must have, and before I start, I'd like to say that there were 2 points that Raul touched on that I felt are very relevant to this argument. One being that we're in the 21st century, and, well, I just forgot the other one, but it was also relevant. Okay. I'd just like to say that many other schools in the Imperial Valley have this club, and we have it's a very liberal school, or should it say. You see in the student handbook, or in, I think even in our agendas that were distributed in previous years, it would say that the school does not discriminate against race or sexual orientation or choice of religion. But I feel like since we don't discriminate against like sexual orientation, then we should, like, this should be done. You know, this is something that needs to happen. So I'm not like saying like I'm not really complaining that it hasn't happened. I'm just saying that it's something that should happen as soon as possible. I'm willing to put in forward work as a student, you know, outside of my studies for this. You know, I think it's an issue that's probably been ignored a little too much. I hate to say this. Earlier this year, it was brought to my attention by ASB members that a gender bender day, which is a school spirit day that we would have had at the high school, was turned down by an administrator because it was just inappropriate. But that's like basically discriminating against transgender kids at school. Not that we have like case or like we actually have someone who's come out, but it's a very touchy subject, and I think it's really important that we make everybody at our high school feel safe and we feel good in a good environment, you know. I think a liberal learning environment is what we should strive for, and I think this would really improve the school, you know, make people more comfortable, and I think it's something that should be done. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Martin Bejaran?
Good evening. My name is Martin Bejarano, and I'd like to talk about some of the topics that my peers here have talked about. One of them being the sunglass issue. I feel that is a bit, you know, it's just, you know, why are they impeding us from wearing our sunglasses when we're just out in the sun? You know, we're out there in the sun during lunch, during passing period, the sun is blazing in our eyes, you know. Most of the times during the morning, a lot of the students have to, you know, go towards the east side of the school, where is, as we all know, where the sun rises, and you know, a lot of times, I think that this sunglass rule has been in place, you know, what I think that so the administration can, you know, prevent the drug users from passing through. But the thing is that what I believe is that most of the students who are getting caught with these sunglass issues are, you know, just regular people who just, you know, want to protect their eyes and their visions. Most of them, you know, for the people who, you know, use weed, you know, who their eyes get red as a product of this, just pass by because they're not wearing sunglasses, you know. But I believe that the people who are, you know, serving their detentions and whatnot are the people who are, this whole rule is, you know, the opposite for. Also, the issue on the dress code for the students with the ripped jeans, there have been some ridiculous cases brought upon. I have a friend who wore a ripped jeans, to which the rip was about the size of a penny. He got detention for it, and I mean, that is, you know, unjust for wearing a jean that had the rip of the size of a penny, for him to serve 1 hour detention for it. Also, a lot of the girls' dress code, I'd like to talk about that. the whole they're not being able to wear these spaghetti straps, these short, bottoms. Honestly, if we are living in a modern society, I think they should be able to express how they feel, due to the fact that they have this freedom of expression. Also, I don't believe since this whole thing is brought upon, oh, you guys have to cover yourselves because you don't want anything happening. You don't want to alarm the boys. I feel that that's unfair for them because they're out there being obscured from what they want, which is wearing what they want. In today's society, they should be able to wear what they want, obviously within justifiable measures, but I feel that they should be able to wear what they want, and I think that's pretty much about it.
Thank you so much.
Right, thanks.
Mr. Alan Lopez.
It's been a long meeting. All right. No, I'm going to talk about the sex ed thing again. Going to keep pushing that. Recently, Raul and I learned that there is, in fact, a sex ed program being instituted at Calexico High. It started on May 20th, to our knowledge. We weren't informed of that. We didn't know. Some seniors in Raul's physics class told them about it. And seeing as we'd like to know more about it, we had one of the seniors take notes throughout the program to make sure it was, comprehensive, a good sex ed program. What we learned is that the program generally only covers HIV prevention, which is good. I mean, it's important, but that's not enough. And the program is only for seniors, which, to be frank, is pretty ineffective because most of them are already having sex. And it's at the end of the school year, which only makes it even more ineffective. We can make the program more comprehensive and effective by firstly having sophomores in the program, first of all, having it at the beginning of the year, before they can get to it. Having it cover topics relating to sex, such as relationships, different orientations, different genders, various methods of protection, contraception, simply going over the basics, the basic science of sex, and HIV prevention just isn't enough. So, yeah, that's it. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Miss Annette Butner.
Annette Butner, parent. Well, Calexico Unified School District has many challenges, such as one, lack of leadership overall and guidance for parents, students, and teachers. Lack of a policy on secondary course syllabi. Horrible mathematics proficiencies that are way below state averages. Lengthy delays in responding to California Public Records Act requests, providing parents and students access to upcoming homework, schoolwork, and tests through Parent View and Genesis program, or computer, whatever application. We have low readiness for college after graduation. And those are just some of the things that, the many things that we need. And what I'm looking at is does our superintendent prioritize responding to these issues that speak to the future of our children, to our city, or to our county? No. The superintendent instead prioritizes placing a teacher on administrative leave because of the content of speech in a dramatic production, which in the first place had already been approved as curriculum by the school district. While playing politics is getting her attention, unfortunately, academic success for our students does not. And I just want you to know that I do stand with these students who demand free speech rights. So Ms. Ambriz and school board members, please reinstate Mr. Hodge. Let's get back to work and let's get our teacher back in the classroom so that these students can prepare for their final exams. Please prioritize the needs of our students and parents. And I urge you to act quickly for proficiency and not for politics. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Butner. Christian Pham or Christian?
Good evening, everyone. I just came here to announce that I am leaving Calexico Unified School District for two big main reasons. I'm leaving to be homeschooled, and of course, above all, I'm leaving because of the quality of education that's offered at the high school and school district. It is, well, to say the least, quite awful. No offense to my teachers or anything, but it's the curriculum and the standards and it's not going to get any better with Common Core. The standards are not going to improve. We are not learning anything, as mentioned by Ms. Annette Butner. Our math scores are very terrible. I thought I would never have to struggle with math, but I'm struggling with math this year, and it's really quite amazing that aren't we supposed to be we have to go to school, and we should at least be getting a good education. And of course, the second point is that we have a restriction placed upon our rights. My house, when I'm being homeschooled, I'm not going to have any sort of restriction. I'll be free to express myself. I'll be free to get the education I want, and not something that is prescribed to me by the school district, that is not tailored to my needs, that's not tailored to the needs of my peers, that is not tailored to just any facet of our individuality. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pham. Mr. Jung Kim.
Hi, everybody. Excuse me. My name is Jung Kim. I believe I don't have to read my address. And the reason I'm here, one of the things, if I say one of my reason, I'm glad to you guys to read over the 3 minutes. I think every school board member has time as much as they want to speak. And that is one of the debate or one of the discussion supposed to be. So you guys read of me, then you guys doesn't have to limit the 3 minutes. So among you guys doesn't have 3 minutes. At least you guys have time to discuss properly. I'm glad you guys to realize it. I feel sorry for the students, and I'm sad to our parents. Is supposed to be here for the protect or for the behalf of our students. And parents' activities in this town is not really function. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the students. They have to stand up themselves. And certain portion they have of freedom of the speech, a lot of their rights. I agree with some. I agree with them to their violating. But and the other way, they supposed to have a certain limit of the freedom too. They're still minor, they have to follow the others' leads. And I believe the Calexico Unified School District failed to protect the education system. The one, do they follow the protocol to taking care of the teachers' discipline issues? And second, they don't care about the students. They were students, the finals just a couple of days left. You guys just removed him from the classroom, humiliate him. It's not only one person be humiliated, as a teacher's position, job title humiliated by the Kalesko Unified School District. When the teachers lose the respect in front of the students, how they can teach the students? You guys are blind. You guys are angers. One person's anger, politics about attacks, it shouldn't be implementing school district system. You guys forgot your duties. You guys elected position, political position, but still have to protect education of our children, education systems. You guys not doing it. How are you going to tell our students to respect your teachers, follow your teachers' lead? Same time, you guys are humiliating the teachers in front of the students. Wake up. You guys are not there as a power trail. You guys as protect education system. Do your job right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Joe Bielma.
Good evening. My name is Joe Bialma. I'm the new varsity head coach for Calexico High School. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who believed in me and supported me to be here today. Here today because of a concern and trying to find a solution over a matter that I have. It's my coaching staff that I coming on board. Obviously, they all have to go through a background, and it kind of causes a little bit of a conflict with the time that I have in my hands here. Obviously, it's a new program that I'm bringing in. It's one of my biggest concerns is that some of the other schools already have a program that's already been set for the past 10 years. In my situation, it's a new program that's coming in, and it's going to affect me, and to put in this new program. To talk a little bit about history of what the staff that I'm bringing in. I believe myself and Mr. Tavares and two other staff members have been cleared at some point through the school, and we're in the school district at some point coaching. The other coaches that I'm bringing on board also have coached or cleared at a different school. So it's not like I'm bringing staff members from from off the streets. It's staff members that I've coached in different schools. What I'm here today to request is that, is it possible that I understand policy is policy? I went through the protocol of bringing these issues to the administration, school administration, and to Mrs. Ambrisa as well, and they bent over backwards to try to find a solution, but now I'm coming to the board for a solution here. What I'm asking is it possible that we have a cleared staff member to be with some of these coaches on school grounds so we could start our football program? And we need to get out there as soon as possible. And again, I emphasize on the fact that it's a new program and we really need to get on board. And to give you an example, weightlifting is a very priority in football as well, and bringing the new program. So I'm asking the board members today if there's we could find a solution here to try to accommodate me so we could get going here. And
Thank you, Mr. Bielma.
thank you.
Board. We are going to move on to consent agenda. We're going to take about a 5-6 minute break before we move on to item N and reconvene in about 5 minutes.